What's up, you guys? Steve here with another stimulus check, stimulus package, and unemployment update as of today, Saturday, October the 24th. As this week, we've now seen the two self-imposed deadlines, one from Nancy Pelosi and one from Mark Meadows, come and go, and we still have no agreement. So I want to make sure I get you guys caught up as to where things currently stand as of today. Now, before we dive in, if you like that, if you could just do me a quick favor, just smash the like button. I would appreciate it. YouTube channel success is based on interaction, so like button and comments helps out the channel. Thank you so much. And also be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on everything rolling out, and hit the notification bell so that way as soon as I upload the videos, you can be notified right away. And also be sure to follow me on Instagram at SteveRam3. All right, you guys, so we've got a lot to cover. As I mentioned, we unfortunately did not hit that deadline of having an agreement by the weekend, as you all know. So what I want to do is take a moment to cover where we currently stand with unemployment first. Then I want to discuss where we stand with the stimulus checks. And then lastly, I want to discuss where we currently stand with the overall negotiations and the stimulus package. So first, for those of you that are coming to get information about unemployment, as you know, we saw the end of FPUC, or the $600 weekly boost, at the end of July. Now, the only enhancement we've seen to unemployment since then has been the LWA program, which added $300 or for some $400 per week for 3 to 6 weeks. Other than that, there has been no enhancement to unemployment, and now we're coming up on a lot of deadlines. At the end of the year, we are going to be seeing the end of PUA, which pretty much expanded unemployment benefits for a lot of people who normally would not be eligible, such as the self-employed, independent contractors, small businesses. And in addition to that, PEUC is also set to expire as well, which is the 13-week extension when you have fully exhausted your UI or PUA. So we're looking at Congress to provide some additional provisions because we're coming to an end of that. Now, as it currently stands, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and White House Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin have come to an agreement on the duration for which we should have another round of FPUC, which would be either from the beginning or the middle of September. They haven't nailed down the start date, and it would go out until January of 2021. And the amount is still not set yet either. They haven't decided whether or not it's going to be $400 per week or $600 per week. But at this point, we have so many people that need it, they just need to pass something. They need to provide something. So we're hoping that they can come to an agreement on the comprehensive stimulus package so that way people can get that provision. In addition to that, the CDC's eviction moratorium is going to be coming to an end as well. So if you're unemployed and you're depending on that, that's going to be ending at the end of the year. So we're really hoping that Congress is going to pass something for that soon. And the eligibility for the CDC eviction moratorium is the same as the stimulus checks, which makes a good way into stimulus checks. Stimulus checks are also being held up by the stimulus package negotiations and the lack of agreement thus far. However, for the most part, we pretty much have bipartisan agreement on stimulus checks. There's just a couple details we need to work out. But as it stands right now, both parties say individuals should get $1,200, couples filing jointly should get $2,400, and the eligibility requirement should be the same as the first round, which is for individuals $75,000 a year or less, and you should get the full check. Couples filing jointly $150,000 a year or less, and you get the full check. If you're an individual and you make $75,000 to $99,000 a year, you get a partial check. Couples filing jointly $150,000 to $198,000 a year, you get a partial check. And you are not eligible if you're an individual that makes more than $99,000 a year, or a couple filing jointly that makes more than $198,000 a year. In addition to that, they're still trying to work out the kinks on how much dependents should get. They're either going to be $500 or $1,000 per dependent. Also, if you are on SSI, SSDI, veterans, railroads, or Social Security benefits, you can also expect to get a stimulus check as well. Now, it's not determined yet whether or not those that have ITIN numbers should receive a check, and it's also not determined yet, but looking like if you owe backed up child support, your check can be garnished for that backed up child support. But as it currently stands, for the most part, we have bipartisan agreement that we should have FPUC enhanced unemployment and a second round of stimulus checks, but everything is being held up on the stimulus package negotiations, which let's talk about now. Since last week, we saw Nancy Pelosi provide a self-imposed deadline of 48 hours, saying that we would have a stimulus package agreement by the end of the day on Tuesday, which came and went, and she said that it was good that she had the deadline because it helped move negotiations forward, but didn't mention the fact that, well, we didn't hit the deadline. In addition to that, we also had Mark Meadows come out and provide a deadline for the weekend as well, and we don't have an agreement yet either. And both parties are optimistic, saying that they believe we're going to reach an agreement soon, but it seems like the deadlines keep getting moved back and further back, and it looks like it's getting very likely we're not going to have an agreement or a package by the elections, which is now less than 2 weeks away, which is not what anybody wants to hear, and I don't want to report, but I promise you guys that whether it's good news or bad news, I'm always going to share with you the facts so that way you can stay up to date on everything. Now, last week, Steve Mnuchin was actually out of the country in the Middle East working on the Abraham Accord, but upon his arrival, he announced to us that both parties now are stuck in their positions and refuse to move any closer, and are actually now blaming each other for the stalling of an agreement. Now, after this, Nancy Pelosi was asked if she believed a deal could still be struck, and she said the following: "We could do that before the election if the president wants to." Mnuchin responded and said, "We've offered compromises. The speaker, on a number of issues, is still dug in. If she wants to compromise, there will be a deal." Now, they are currently blaming each other on this. However, they are still optimistic that they can reach a deal, and Mark Meadows was reported saying the following: "Hopefully we can get a deal done in the next day or so. We're still working through it. Secretary Mnuchin and I talked, and we're still working with her teams, but actually making adjustments and trying to look at language to reach a compromise." Now, at this point, we are all pretty much looking towards Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and White House Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin to reach that stimulus package agreement, as it was reported that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Republicans in the Senate tried to pass their $500 billion skinny bill this week, and it was denied on the Senate floor. It was pretty much a party line vote where Republicans voted for it and all the Democrats voted against it. And it was reported that Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi instructed all Democrats in the Senate to vote against it, as it undermined the efforts of Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin. And all Democrats in the Senate did in fact vote against it. Now, that skinny bill would have provided another round of PPP, another round of FPUC, and also liability protection for businesses. But its denial once again points us all toward the only hope for stimulus package agreement to be reached through Nancy Pelosi and White House Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. Now, it's been reported that President Donald Trump supports another stimulus check and also another stimulus package agreement. And he's actually urged Republicans to just go for the higher number so that way we can reach an agreement. It is believed that he wants to see this not only to help provide provisions for Americans, but also because they believe it will help him in the polls for elections. However, as we draw closer to elections and are actually less than 2 weeks away, it is looking very unlikely now that provisions will go out before elections, or possibly that we'll even have an agreement by elections. Keep in mind the fact that once elections take place, that motivations within Congress could change drastically, and also positions and power could change hands as well. Now, currently, the holdup is because we have a divided Congress. We have a Republican president and Senate with a Democratic House that refuse to work together. Now, even if President Trump is removed from office and we have President Biden roll in, if we still have a divided Congress, we could still have the same issues with them not coming to an agreement. However, if we happen to see a full Republican Congress or a full Democratic Congress that will agree on everything, then it is likely we will just see provisions rolling out. But as it stands, with the way things currently are split, there is a lot of issues on how provisions should roll out with different ideologies from each party. And once again, just a comprehensive overview of where they currently stand with the stimulus package agreement. It is looking very likely that this stimulus package will be roughly between 1.9, which is Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin's current stance, up to 2.2 or 2.4 trillion, which is Nancy Pelosi's stance. This will also, as I mentioned, have another round of stimulus checks. It will have another round of FPUC. In addition to that, it will also have more funding for PPP. It will have more national testing and tracing for the virus. There will be school funding. We don't have an exact amount yet. There will be state and local government funding. Republicans' current stance is $300 billion. Democrats' current stance is $417 billion. We are unsure whether or not there will be liability protection for businesses, and families with small children or dependents can expect to receive a tax credit or a larger stimulus check. We are yet to see. Well, you guys, I wish we were further along, but that is where we currently stand as of today regarding the unemployment, the checks, and the overall negotiations for the stimulus package. Now, it's very likely as we draw closer to the elections that more news will be rolling out, and no, I will be sure to share it here on the channel. And if you haven't already, if you like that, if you could do me a quick favor, once again, just smash the like button. I would appreciate it. And to stay up to date on everything, be sure to smash the subscribe button and the notification bell so that way as soon as I upload, you can be notified. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at SteveRam3. Well, you guys, as I mentioned, as more information rolls out, I will be sure to share. I hope this reaches you well. Take care. Have a blessed weekend. God bless. This is Steve.